Hey, what's up, guys? So I know we kind of find ourselves in a rather unique and awful situation. Awful for just an absolute multitude of reasons. And obviously that affects us from a jiu-jitsu standpoint as the academy's closed. Hopefully for just a couple of weeks, but we don't know how this is going to play out. Potentially this could last for weeks or months. So we want to be prepared for that. So you guys know I'm always preaching consistency, and talking about maximizing the amount of training that we can fit in. And no excuses. You know, we know that life's going to get in the way, whether it's job, relationships, injuries, things are going to come up that's going to get in your way and interfere with your ability to train. So we always say no excuses. You're not going to find the time. You have to make the time. Well, guess what? Pandemics aren't excluded from that. So we got to find a way to continue to train, continue to stay engaged so that we can continue to embrace all the benefits that we know we get from jiu-jitsu. I personally, exercise, jiu-jitsu, being physically active, that's an outlet for me, particularly in extremely stressful situations which we find ourselves in right now. So we can look at the situation incredibly negatively and just be miserable for the next couple of weeks or months, or we can try to be positive and try to find a way to come up with some creative ways to keep ourselves active, to be able to continue to train, and again, so we can continue to get all the benefits of that. So that's what we're here to do now. So let's get it. So my goal today is to give you guys just some very basic, fundamental solo drills that you guys can do at home, okay? I'm gonna assume that we're doing this maybe in our basement, maybe in our living room, bedroom, so space is gonna be a factor. So we're gonna do these fundamental drills. Doesn't require a partner, but we're gonna kind of accommodate or adjust some of the drills we're doing to account for the limited space that we have, okay? So first we're gonna start with our shrimp drill. So a lot of this stuff, again, it's gonna be fundamentally in nature because solo drills fundamentally are rather basic, okay? But we don't wanna substitute fundamental or basic for ineffective, okay? Because these are the foundations that we build a lot of our advanced moves on. So until we have a good understanding, a good comprehension of these fundamentals, we're not gonna be able to progress throughout our jiu-jitsu journey. So we got to embrace that. We got to be good at it, okay? So very basic, our shrimp drill. So as you guys know, my elbows always tight, hands in front, protecting my face and my neck. My legs all start out straight. I'm gonna bend or chamber one leg. I'm gonna off the ball of my foot and my toes, I'm gonna use that to push myself onto my opposite shoulder, my left shoulder in this instance. From here, I'm gonna lift my hips up slightly. So I'm putting my weight on my shoulder to lighten my hips so that I can escape my butt backwards. At the same time, I'm pressing my hands down to my feet. Now, if this is in the academy, we would just switch to the opposite side and we continue down the mat. However, again, we're gonna assume we have a limited amount of space here today. So we're gonna stay in one spot. So we're gonna do a shrimp and then adjust back to our starting position. So again, elbows tight, foot is bent, pressing off onto my shoulder. Gonna escape my hips as I push down to my feet. My foot that I just press twisted, I'm gonna use that to pull my hips right back down so I end up in the same position I was in. I'm gonna switch feet. Opposite leg is bent. Again, I'm pushing off the ball of my feet and the toes. I'm not pushing, my foot's not flat footed, I'm not pushing off my heel. I can't be as explosive if I'm pushing off my heel. This is gonna help me generate as much space as I can, which is a requirement in this position. At the same time I push with my heel, it's easier for me to perhaps slip and then I'm gonna lose the positioning. So ball of my foot, toes, again, pushing now onto my opposite shoulder, escaping my hips back, same foot, then I'm gonna use that to drag my hips forward. And then we go to the opposite side, and back, and back. Slightly different angle. Again, leg is bent, pushing down towards my feet, same foot, helping me drag my hips forward. Switch opposite side, escape, drag my hips forward. So as you're doing this at home, you have the option, we can do this per rep, so 10, 20 reps, or You have your phone, put your timer on, do it for 1, 2, 3 minutes before we move on to the next drill. Our next option we're going to look at is similar to what we just did. However, rather than just shrimping, perhaps to maybe escape side control, we are going to escape, do our shrimp escape, but use that to transition to our turtle position. And then from there, we're going to recover guard by sitting through and getting back to our butterfly position. So again, everything's the same as last situation. Chambered, I'm going to push back once. However, rather than bring my hips back, I'm going to step that same leg backwards one more time. I'm going to push off that leg up onto my shoulder. So my hips are light and it gives me room to bring down my bottom leg underneath. At the same time, I'm going to hide my inside elbow. My arms out makes it very difficult for me to sit up into my turtle position. So my elbow stays hidden here. I push up, bottom leg comes under, and I end up in my turtle position. From here, I'm going to step my foot up as I plant my opposite hand. We're going to sit right back to a good butterfly position. So again, flat, I'm going to shrimp once. My leg again is going to step back a second time. Elbows hidden. I'm going to push off up onto my shoulder to give me room to bring my bottom leg underneath. And we wind up in a turtle position. Post your hand, post the opposite leg, sit through to turtle. We do the same thing, opposite way. I'm going to, shrimp once, back leg, shrimps twice, pushing off my foot to raise my hips, elbows hidden to turtle position. Post my hand, post my opposite leg, sit back to butterfly. Slightly different angle. Again, shrimp once, second time, elbows hidden to base. Plant my hand, plant my opposite leg, sit through to good butterfly. Same thing, opposite leg. I shrimp once, leg goes back, hips high, leg comes underneath. Again, post, step my opposite leg, we sit right back to butterfly. Again, do it X number of reps or do it for time, 1, 2, 3 minute rounds. Our next option, we're going to look at our elbow push escape. So again, another kind of shrimping motion. We'll often use this when we're maybe escaping side control, escaping north-south. A lot of times we'll employ this to just maintain our guard or to prevent our guard from being passed as a kind of a late defense. And then again, to keep ourselves in the center of the room, because again, space is limited, we're going to pair that together with our reverse shrimp. So we move back, slide forward, we keep ourselves in the center of the room. So my elbow push escape, I'm going to start flat, just kind of in the same position I was in the previous 2 techniques. My outside hand, I am going to sit up and drive across my body. At the same time, I'm going to come up onto my opposite elbow. So I'm going to drive and onto my elbow. It's going to be incredibly difficult for me to come all the way up to my hand right away. I know we're just doing a drill, but if I have somebody with weight on me, for me to think I'm going to drive like this all the way to my hand, it's not realistic. So I want to just at least get to my elbow. Before then, I can shrimp once. Now I can come up to put my hand behind me, shrimp twice, and we recover our guard. So again, first part of this, I'm going to sit up as I drive my hand across my body. If this was a realistic situation, I'm going to be grabbing the gi material right above his elbow. No gi, I'm C-gripping above the elbow at the tricep. I'm going to drive across his body as I sit up on my opposite elbow. Drive. Then we're going to go 1 shrimp. Now I can post my hand. 2nd shrimp. Back to butterfly. Second part of this. From there, I'm going to lay back. We're going to do reverse shrimps. So I'm going to extend my one leg out. Back of my leg is going to hit the mat. I'm going to use that point to lift my hips on the mat, off the mat. Weights on my shoulders. I'm going to drag my bum forward to my foot. Same thing, opposite leg. Extend. Outside foot comes in. Weights on my shoulder to lighten the weight off my hips. We come back and then we're in our starting position. Sit up to elbow. 1, 2. I go flat again. Again, recover. Shrimp. shrimp. Same thing, opposite way this time. I extend to my elbow. 1, now I can place my hand. 2, shrimp, reverse shrimp, legs extended, hips light, hips light. And again, for reps and or for time. So our next option, we're going to look at just some basic shoulder rolls. Okay, in the academy, this is part of our warm-up. We'll typically do that down the mat. We'll go kind of unilaterally in one direction because we have the space to do that. However, limited space here, so what we're going to do is we're going to alternate shoulder roll to one side. We're going to alternate to the opposite side. Okay. Fundamentally, this is incredibly important because this is going to aid us in being able to invert, which is going to help us, maintain guard, and then it's also going to help us be offensive for kind of spinning under a kiss of the dragon or berimbolo style attacks from there. So, way we're going to start, I'm going to slide back so I keep you in frame. Whatever side I'm going to roll to. Here, I'm rolling to my left side, so my left hand, I was going to put that behind my back, okay, just to get my arm out of the way. As we do this, I'm always going to keep my chin tucked. So my chin is to my chest. I don't want my head up as I do this because as I flop to roll, my head's going to impede my ability to roll over my shoulders, but also I'm going to jam my neck, and obviously we don't want any injuries. So tucking my chin, I'm going to fall to my left side. As I fall, I don't want my momentum just to take me over. We want to do this technically. So my foot that's on the bottom, I'm going to turn my toes down. As I turn my toes down, I'm going to use that to elevate my hips. Because what I don't want to do, or what's incorrect, is I just do like a log roll and roll over to my belly. I want my hips high, so I'm rolling over top of my shoulders and my upper back. So I push down here to get my hips up. As we roll over and we end up mirrored, exact same position, opposite sides. So again, if I was in the academy, I can keep moving in the same direction. However, today we're just going to alternate. So now, right arm's behind me, flopping to my right shoulder, toes go to the mat to aid in elevating my hips. Roll, roll, roll. Same position here. And we can just go. So again, you can do it for reps or put time on your clock and do it in rounds. As a continuation from the last technique we're going to use that kind of like a shoulder roll, like a half shoulder roll, almost Grammy roll, open our legs up to recover guard. So again, a lot of times in the academy we can do this down the mat, but limited space. So we're going to roll over each time one shoulder for X number of reps, and then we're going to switch shoulders and keep going in the opposite direction because you'll kind of move in a little bit of a circle here. So everything's exactly the same. Hiding my arm, chin's tucked, flop. I get my hips incredibly high. However, instead of rolling all the way over, I'm going to open my legs and sit up to butterfly, recover guard. Again, same direction, hiding my arm, down. I'm going to open my legs to recover guard. Here, hips high, recover. Here, hips high, recover. When I'm ready, we'll switch shoulders. Here, hips high, open and recover. Hips high, open and recover. Next drill, we're going to look at just a little bit of a transition from going to our sit-up or our butterfly guard and transitioning up to our combat base, okay? So incredibly important for one, this is really beneficial when you're coming up on sweeps. A lot of times, who finishes the sweep and who gets up to their base first, whoever's hips get higher. So we want to do that efficiently and effectively. This is also going to aid in some attacks. So like ankle picks when your opponent's on the knees and he steps the foot up. Or a lot of times as we add our pendulum leg, you're going to see just the concept of that to generate momentum, which is kind of a consistent theme in a lot of jiu-jitsu situations. So the way this is going to start out is I'm just going to be sitting, butterfly guard, and I'm going to just transition my feet here. So one foot, my heel is going to kind of dig into the mat. The other one's going to just fold in, okay? And as I do that, I'm going to project my weight forward over my knee, my leg that's folded up, okay? Ideally, I don't want to have to put my hand to the mat to make this transition, meaning I don't want to have to use this to get me up to here. Because a lot of times if I'm sweeping, I might have grips. And as soon as I put this down, that gives my opponent an opportunity to base, to put a foot down, and then perhaps start to escape or generate some kind of a scramble. So ideally when I do this, I want to come up without having to put my hand down. How we do that is I drive my weight forward. My center of balance has to be over my knees and my feet so that I can effortlessly get up here. We sit back, switch. Sit back, switch. Now, if we add the element of utilizing our pendulum legs, so a lot of times if I'm on my back and I need to come up in this position, especially if I have some weight on me, for me just to sit up is going to be incredibly difficult. So that's where we're going to use our pendulum leg to make that a little bit more efficient, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to fall back. I'm going to kick one leg high, okay? So now to generate a lot of momentum, I'm going to drive my heel to the mat. At the same time, I'm going to curl that same leg underneath. So we're going to drive, curl, and then we come right up to our combat base. We can hip thrust, or if we're on a single leg, we can even stand up all the way. Same leg that was curled, I sit back down, fall back, opposite leg's gonna come high. Now I'm gonna drive this leg to the mat, curl this one under. Come up to my base, again, single ankle pick and or come up on the single leg. Same leg that was folded, I'm gonna collapse, roll back. Opposite leg comes up, boom, fold it under. Again, do it for reps. Try both variations, and or put some time on the clock for rounds. So last drill I'm going to give you today is just our 4 points drill, or hip heist drill, whatever you might want to call it. We'll do this often in the academy as part of our warm up, or a lot of times we'll do it after rolls. We're tired, kind of a good way just to from a conditioning standpoint, just to finish off the day's training. So we do our 4 points drill. What we're doing is we're looking at 4 points. So if you're not familiar with this, sometimes it's a good idea just to, even if you put a little piece of tape or something, where your hand goes, where each foot goes. Okay, I'm gonna turn sideways, make it a little bit easier here. Boom, boom. So all we're gonna do is I'm going to sit through. So my hips are gonna face towards the sky. As I sit through, my hand is gonna come back to where my foot was. So I'm stepping across through with my right foot. My opposite hand, my left hand, is gonna go where my foot was, and my foot's gonna replace where my hand was. So we sit through, boom. And then we're just gonna reverse that position. Boom. Now we're gonna do the same thing opposite. Left foot's gonna sit through, right hand's gonna replace. Boom. Boom. Very easy, slightly different angle here. Again, substituting hand and foot. And then as you get comfortable, you'll pick up your pace. You can notice at no point am I sitting on the mat here. My butt is off all the time. So this one, absolutely put some time on the clock. Do 1, 2, even 3 minute rounds. Get very comfortable switching your hips through this drill, but also utilize that as a conditioning element in your training while we're stuck at home.